What's it saying?
It's saying, I'm pretty sure we're in just the small boy zone, but I'm just gonna double check. You know, at this point, I've just been thinking, just got 4 on one side, just to make sure I'm safe no matter where I'm at. But I just was thinking, what if a big old 6-pointer comes in? Like, well, better make sure. So I think somebody's coming in here. Sure is.
You're doing hunting around here if you're from Colorado.
I'm from Ohio originally, so.
Hunting doe or bear?
I'm hunting deer, he's hunting golf, so. Yeah, you guys got a YouTube channel?
We do.
What is it?
The Hunting Public.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah.
I watch it all the time.
Sweet.
Really? Cool. Wow. Cool. Hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Alright, it's day 3 of the Public Land Challenge. Ted and I are walking back in here to that same spot that we hunted last night. What we're going to do is start at that same general vicinity as we were last night and then kind of slowly work our way down the ridge, just trying to figure out more about where these deer are bedding and how we can get closer to them. That's the plan. I think that the conditions are going to allow for it. You can hear probably there's a lot of water dropping from the trees. Seems like a good time always to be sneaking through. Sun should be popping up too, so that should make it a little easier for us to see as well. I like sun a little bit better. It's hard to see when it's raining like it was the last 2 days, so I feel confident. Get in there and mix it up a little bit and hopefully have some fun. Probably will, I would imagine. Always do. Seems like we got in here pretty clean. Only bumped like 4 bears on the way in. It's just probably about legal shooting line. I really don't think we bumped anything. I feel like I can lightly feel cool air hitting my face coming this way, which is the way the wind is forecasted. Again, blowing into that field. We're right back in that little blind that we made yesterday. But I don't think we're going to be here for very long. I think as soon as the sun starts to pop, we're going to try to go find where these deer are bedding by still hunting down this ridge and just peeking over. Talked with kind of everybody last night about what's going on back here. I don't know, I feel like the general consensus is the deer are either bedded right below the top or on any bench that's below the top that kind of flattens out. We've seen that in other places before too. There's a really good bench right below us, and that's where we heard those bucks fighting or sparring last night. So hoping something comes through here right down below us, checking scrapes. My confidence just keeps going up. I mean, that looks like a pretty big track to me. That's some fresh sign. A deer was here within the last probably 12 hours, wouldn't you say? We were set up right there this morning, probably 50 yards down in there, 45 yards. Couldn't have hardly missed these deer, man. I know they're close. And that's almost the frustrating thing. It's like I know they're right here. I just can't seem to lay eyes on anything. It's so ripped up in here. There's just buck sign everywhere. I hate to push in when we heard them down here last night. Like, maybe we can just kill them right down on that bench below. I may just walk up just another 40, 50, or 30 maybe, just to see if I can see anything over this top. Yeah, dude, that's a huge track.
Now I got a bunch of decent sign here. The river kind of makes a pinch point. The deer got to come around to get down into this valley here. There's a big scrape here, but when you get into that open area over there, the big flat along the river, there's a bunch of oak trees dropping like crazy. There's scrapes in there, rubs in there, all kinds of stuff. And this is the main drag going in there. There's some broken off trees over there that have been rubbed, that rub. And Tim's hunting about 700 yards that way, and he saw bucks on this side of him moving this way. So I think this is a good spot. The only thing that sucks is it's really tricky getting a tree in here with the thermals and the wind. So I had to pick this tree here, which is a pain in the butt. It's got some air holes through it. And a nest of some sort right next to the platform of the tree stand. It's a crazy tree. But this is green wood. It's just that center that's rotted out. So don't worry about Dan. He'll survive. Natural shooting lanes. This is pretty good. I hope somebody shoots one tonight. I feel confident. Logged about 7 miles scouting today. Up and down these ridges. The deer seem to be really isolated in certain little pockets. You'll have a lot of deer in one area, but you got to cover a lot of ground to find those deer. This area is loaded with acorns. This area we got bucks in. I spent the whole day scouting. This was the first place I scouted. The whole rest of the day I didn't find nothing. So I had to come back to here. I like the spot though, and I like the odds. I think one of us in the group should get an opportunity tonight. Tim saw 7-shooter bucks yesterday. He's about 500 yards that way, and they're on this side of him. So I like the odds of him moving this way and coming down here. We'll see. We're just going to kick back and wait and see what happens.
All right, day 3. Weather's changed a bit. I'm going to head into the same area that I have been hunting, where I saw some really nice deer yesterday. I'm going to pick a different tree. Hopefully put a hurting on a good one.
So he's going this way, I'm going this way. There's kind of a valley in here. And Rick had hunted down in the bottom 2 days ago, and he didn't really see much. So I went in there this morning, and I went a little bit higher up, and there was quite a bit of sign higher up, and I had a good 2-year-old stand up that I could see at like 100 yards. We had like a stare down for probably 20 minutes, and then he slowly walked off up into where it got thick. So I'm going to be set up right in there. I think that 2-year-old has a lot of sign in there. I think that's all his sign, but if he comes back out, I'll take a swing at him. So
we'll see how it goes.
See if we're dragging a buck at last light back to the old blue bomb here.
Yep. All right, there was a guy in the parking lot, and I'm actually not even sure where he is. So what I did was I changed my axis, so I'm not going to screw him up. We'll see, it should be interesting. I think that guy's going to be between me and Joe. So this looks pretty fresh. I don't think I saw this last night. Some big tracks in that. Finally set up. It's already been an interesting day. So the guy I didn't want to run into, I ran into him. Guy's been hunting here for 40 years, so he actually knew where to go. He was pretty much set up right where a lot of those bucks were coming out of yesterday. When I seen him, he was putting in those tacks so he can find his way in and out. He was an older guy, could have been retired even. So I decided I could have either went below him or go above him. So I decided to go above him. So I'm at the next bench. I'm not feeling that great about this spot, but there's still a lot of oaks here. There's no sign. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, so I'm all set up way up here. You can see the pines behind me. Basically, you've got like a saddle. There's a valley that comes up the ridge and a saddle. You can literally see it right in front of me. But this morning when I was scouting up in here, I came from kind of that direction, and I saw like a nice 2.5-year-old buck. I kind of had a stare down with him for, I would say, like 20 minutes, and he slowly worked his way up into here, and it looks like good bedding. So these little draws have been good to me in the past, and that's the way Dan explains that these draws kind of pull deer to them. We've got acorns up high here, which in the other places we didn't have acorns up high, so I think that's a big deal. I've got a trail in front of me for if stuff's kind of, I hate to use the word cruising, but if it's cruising left to right, I should have like a 18-20 yard shot. Another thing that I'm loving, and I don't think you could hear it in the audio right now, but this morning when this buck went up in here, you could hear the blue jays going nuts, screaming at him. And I sat here, after he went up in here, I probably sat here for 45 minutes, just waiting to see what would happen, see if he'd loop back down. And he never came back out, but the blue jays screamed at him the whole time. And now since I've been here, sporadically throughout the last, 45 minutes to an hour, you could hear the blue jays screaming at something up in there. So hopefully that's him, or something bigger, and he works back out. So it'll be pretty cool. spikes in here now. The one spike just northeast at the other. Pretty wild. Gosh, I just don't know if I'm on the right elevation. They went down below, and now they're looping up to me, it looks like. The blue jays kind of snitched on them and told me that they were there, so that was kind of cool. Here they come. I've got two doe coming out of those pines, that bedding that buck went up in. And I know some does went up in there too this morning that I spooked, so hopefully they're coming out first and then he comes out later. Mop, mop, mop. I got flustered because he came in, and I know there's the antler point restrictions, and I didn't know if I could. He didn't have brows. If he had brows, I'd been fine for sure. But I did some research on my phone while he was standing in front of me forever, and I was good to go. I could shoot him. What got to me, I think, is he started to run down again. When he came out of the bedding area, he ran out, and I had to whistle to stop him. I was trying to get the GoPro to work. That didn't work, so it's just a big flustered mess. Maybe it wasn't meant to be. Back home, I would never shoot a deer like that, of that size. But out here, it's been tough, and he got me fired up. We've got like a half hour yet, and the big stuff comes at last light, so we'll see what happens. Ted and I are coming back into the spot where we've been hunting. We got a wind coming this way, and the ridge runs this way. Well, the sign is kind of coming out of the bedding area this direction. Right below us is that bench where we heard the deer sparring last night. We're slipping down here trying to get set up down there. We kind of scouted it out earlier, then worked around a little bit on the top as well. There's some rubs down here that we're going to set up on, and there's a little bit of a bench that we think we can at least get close to. We'll probably get there to start and then move in if we want. The wind right now, like I said, is kind of coming up the ridge. We're hoping with deer bedded somewhere down the ridge that when the thermals start to drop off, we're still safe. Like the wind coming this way right now, the predominant wind, but then the thermals, as everything kind of calms for evening, will just drop down this way, still giving us, safety for deer coming this way, which is, I think, where they're going to come from. But then again, we don't really know because we haven't seen one yet. We're just taking it one hunt at a time because we think that there's a big buck in here just based off of how fresh the sign is. And there's a lot of big rubs. There's big tracks we've
bed right here. Just a big bed. There's rubs going every which direction from this bed. That's why we've been, setting up there and then still hunting down these ridges, is because we figured they were down here. And this is proof. This is the first, for sure buck bed I've seen. And it was 100 yards, 150 yards from where we're set up. Right down here is where we heard those bucks sparring. The wind's going to be the tricky part because I think they're coming down here. And as the temperature changes and drops tonight, the thermals are going to come down. So I think if we're up there, we're not in the right spot. And it looks so good, don't you think? The amount of acorns and how matted this all is looks so good. The wind right now is doing this, but like I said, I'm concerned about it dropping off later.
We're heading out today. We adjusted where we sat yesterday. We had a small buck walk by, really small, but we had a buck walk by, and we took about a 2-hour walk and scout in an area right where we thought there should be some sign. There were several rubs, a scrape, and we knew that we could slip in today. It's noon right now, and we're gonna set up, and we'll have a good 5-hour sit there in that location. And pretty nice because out here they have forestry cuttings. Pennsylvania Game Commission a lot of times fences them off so that deer can't feed on the browse, and so we're actually hunting in a corner. The funnel's moving around the corner of the fence, and we're also blowing our scent into the fence. So tonight it works out perfect. So we couldn't do that last night, and there's some select cut area, and we're in that funnel area where we have a lot of oaks on one side, a lot more brush on the other. We're hoping to catch them slipping through, and I'll be honest, I'm looking for any legal buck that walks by. We're having fun out here with Dan Infault and the crew and the hunting public guys, and it's been a really nice trip. We've had 2 days of solid rain. At night, during the day, everything's wet. We're drying out stuff right now. This is the first clear day. I don't think it's going to rain, and it's a little bit warmer, but you know me, I like hunting those changing conditions. So we had solid rain for 2 days, windy at times, pouring at times, and it just didn't. Last night when the rain stopped, we had a buck move. Some of the other hunters are getting on deer, and so I have high expectations, whether it's for us or one of the other in the challenge today, to get one. And we're gonna head in. We're actually making a ground blind. We think we have a good spot to hunt, so we're gonna head in. We're getting closer to that ag land. We're still about a half mile away from the ag land. We're walking in approximately 40 minutes to get into this location, and then we're still a half mile away from the ag land. But we're right in that transition where I feel they're going from one. We've already been in that spot. We found a lot of rubs and scrapes when we got back there, and we're getting even closer and more in that barbella movement now. So we'll see if it pays off.
Well, I think that was a legal buck. It had 3 on one side. But I couldn't bring myself to shooting that little thing. I see at least an 8-pointer, right?
Alright, we're calling it a night. No deer sightings. I have no idea why. We didn't see any deer, but the fresh signs here, I feel like we're just really hitting that home at this point. We're just gonna have to get a lot deeper, I think. We've really only hunted, one elevation above where we were tonight and down where we were. I mean, we're in an area where there's deer. There's just beds, rubs, big tracks. There's bucks in here. We just probably are not getting far enough down the ridge. We're gonna get more aggressive in the morning and push in further, but till then, we're gonna sneak out of here, see what everybody else saw.
Yikes.
That ain't good.
You need tweezers?
If you have them.
I have some too.
You know I got Lyme this summer.
Really?
I was just reliving it, and now I'm kind of freaked out.
Well, that's going to do it for day 3 of the Public Land Challenge. Sounds like everybody had a pretty good day, except for Joe.
I think it was a combination of target panic and hitting my camera arm, maybe one or the other. Sent an arrow, 10 feet in front of a deer.
That's a lot better day than me and Zach had because we didn't see anything all day. So
We were up there with you.
yeah,
But we had a good spot, and I got a good nap in. The nap was awesome. Woods naps. Who can be there?
We're learning. We'll figure them out. We know they're in there.
It's tough, though, because you get out by the private land, and there's a lot of deer. But if you go back in the woods, out in the middle of the forest, unless there's clear cuts or something else, there's not a lot of deer.
Right.
Out in the middle of nowhere. So you don't see anybody, but then you don't have deer, so it's kind of that balance.
There seems to be little pockets where all the deer are.
We're going to be back after them again tomorrow. Pretty much same weather, warm. We'll get to enjoy that tomorrow. We'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Day 4 is coming up tomorrow. Good enough. We're done.
Good start, Ted.
It was a strong
Brought in the closer.
Way to lead us.
Running along here, man, for the close.
Figure we might as well wrap that up. Ted just
Couple more years, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, Ted just didn't have the aggression to get that close in there. He just had to punch in and just be like, hey, we're done with it. Cut it!